Welcome to ComfortTV.channel news, bringing you verified and balanced news from Nigeria and around the world. My name is Faith Kevin. In the headlines, ex-APC chieftain slams President Tinubu over silence on Minister Wike's confrontation with naval officer. Former Senate President withdraws from PDP National Convention, calls for caretaker committee. Civil society group hails INEC's improved conduct in Anambra governorship election. Ajokuta still to produce military hardware following MOU with Defense Ministry. COS strengthening ties with 41 RC alumni, calls for continued support in national defense. 4 sentenced to death over Kano garage owner's murder. Henshaw named ambassador for Lagos Food Bank initiative. Steps up fight against hunger. On business, Naira slips to 10-day low against dollar amid mid-month demand pressures. Standard Chartered meets 200 billion Naira minimum capital base. On the foreign scene, Iran accuses U.S. of directing Israeli attacks in formal UN complaint. U.S. Central Command reports 22 anti-ISIS operations in Syria as coalition urges detainee repatriation. On sports, Dane Judison defends Lamine Yamal amid Spain national team injury dispute. And Leeds United eye Premier League return for Ivan Toney. Now the news. Former Deputy National Publicity Secretary of the All Progressives Congress, APC, Comrade Timmy Frank, has criticized President Bola Tinubu for remaining silent following a public confrontation between FCT Minister Honorable Nyesom Wike and the naval officer in Abuja. Comrade Frank described the incident as indicative of a broader decline in governance culture and a warning for Nigeria's democracy. He accused Minister Wike of treating the FCT as his personal fiefdom, acting with disregard for legal orders, opposition voices, and democratic norms. The activist also expressed concern that President Tinubu's failure to publicly address the matter signals that some government officials may operate above the law, potentially emboldening impunity within the administration. Comrade Frank commended the naval officer for maintaining composure during the encounter, saying the restraint displayed reflected discipline, patriotism, and respect for the uniform. He warned that unchecked arrogance and abuse of power by officials could erode public trust and threaten Nigeria's democratic institutions. The former APC chieftain urged the president to publicly reprimand Minister Wike and reaffirm a commitment to humility, discipline, and respect for governance institutions, emphasizing that leadership should not be exercised through intimidation. Former Senate President Bukola Saraki has formally withdrawn from the People's Democratic Party's PDP upcoming national convention in Ibadan, citing the party's ongoing internal conflicts and legal disputes. The planned convention, scheduled for November 15 to 16, 2025, has been overshadowed by protracted disagreements within the party, including conflicting court rulings over its validity and procedural conduct. Dr. Saraki expressed concern that holding the convention under the current circumstances could worsen the divisions within the PDP and undermine its credibility as a political platform. He highlighted the uncertainties surrounding the process, noting that contested nominations and unresolved internal disputes could discourage serious and ambitious politicians from participating. He called on the party leadership to prioritize reconciliation and suggested that the formation of a caretaker committee would be the most effective way to stabilize the party temporarily. Such a committee, he said, would oversee the day-to-day affairs of the PDP, ensuring that the interests of members are protected while restoring confidence in the party's internal processes. The PDP leadership, however, has maintained that the convention will proceed as scheduled, despite 2 separate court orders halting the process. The party has insisted that the convention is necessary to advance organizational goals and prepare for upcoming elections, but internal divisions continue to pose challenges to a unified approach. A civil society organization, the Electoral Hub, has commended the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) for improvements in professionalism, transparency, and logistics during the Anambra governorship election. The group, which focuses on research, advocacy, and electoral development, monitors the entire electoral process from pre-election preparations to post-election activities. The Electoral Hub noted significant progress compared to previous poll, particularly in result transmissions, logistics coordination, and inclusivity. According to the Electoral Hub, voting commenced on time in most polling units, and the Bimodal Voter Accreditation System (BVAS) successfully uploaded nearly all results to the INEC Result Viewing Portal by the morning of November 9. Ad hoc election officials, including NYSC members, were recognized for their professionalism and adherence to election guidelines. The organization said the results were transparently collated from ward to state level, with incumbent Governor Dr. Charles Soludo of Abga declared the winner with 422,664 votes, defeating Prince Nicholas Ukachukwu of APC, who received 99,445 votes. Measures were also taken to support voters with disabilities, and women, including pregnant voters, were given priority at polling stations. Despite these improvements, the Electoral Hub highlighted challenges that affected the credibility and inclusivity of the elections. The 5 million naira campaign permit fee imposed by the Anambra State Signage and Advertisement Agency favored wealthier parties, while security incidents, including the killing of a local councillor in Orumbasal local government area and reports of vote buying at several polling units, raised concerns. Voter turnout remained low at 21.4%, reflecting ongoing apathy and disillusionment among the electorate. The Hub emphasized that these gains occurred within the broader context of Nigeria's democratic recession, underscoring the need for continuous reforms to strengthen electoral integrity nationwide. The Ajaokuta Steel Company Limited is set to begin producing military hardware following the signing of a memorandum of understanding between the Ministry of Steel Development and the Ministry of Defense. The agreement establishes a collaborative framework that would leverage the industrial capacity and resources of the Ajaokuta Steel Plant, one of Africa's largest steel facilities, to develop armored vehicles, weapons, helmets, and other essential military equipment. The initiative marks a major step towards Nigeria's self-reliance in defense manufacturing and reflects the government's focus on harnessing strategic industrial assets to enhance national security. The MOU was signed in two parts, one between the Federal Ministries of Steel Development and Defense and another between the Defense Industries Corporation of Nigeria, DICON, and Ajaokuta Steel Company. The partnership is expected to strengthen the domestic defense sector, create employment opportunities, and build local technical capacity in defense-related industries. Officials anticipate that this collaboration will reduce Nigeria's reliance on imported military hardware while promoting industrial development and technological advancement within the country. In addition to improving national security, the initiative is poised to support economic growth and industrialization by utilizing Ajaokuta steel production capabilities. The project is expected to generate value across the manufacturing chain and encourage further collaborations in the defense sector. Overall, the agreement positions Nigeria to build a more resilient and self-sufficient defense infrastructure while advancing the country's long-term industrial and economic objectives. The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Y.D. Shaibu, received members of the 41 Regular Course Alumni Association, highlighting the importance of collective efforts to ensure national security. The visit, which took place in Abuja, underscores the enduring bonds between coursemates forged decades ago at the Nigerian Defense Academy, a relationship that continues to influence the strength and effectiveness of the Nigerian Army. During the meeting, the course emphasized the value of his coursemates' experience and wisdom, noting that their engagement has been crucial in shaping strategies aimed at achieving a safer and more secure Nigeria. He encouraged alumni to remain actively involved in providing insight and field expertise, which he described as essential to the success of his command and the broader mission of the armed forces. The gathering is also served as an opportunity to reinforce unity and collaboration among serving and retired military personnel. The president of the 41 Regular Course Alumni Association, retired Major Lancelot Anyanya, praised the appointment of Lieutenant General Shaibu as the 25th Chief of Army Staff, highlighting the pride and sense of collective fulfillment this brought to members of the alumni across all branches of the military. He He emphasized the distinguished service record of the COAS and noted that his leadership and professionalism, evident since his days as academic cadet adjutant, continue to set high standards for military service. A Kano State High Court has sentenced 4 men to death by hanging for the murder of Mr. Rilwanu Ilyasu, also known as Nanu, a mechanic who operated a garage at Farawa Layout in Kano. The convicted men are Mr. Abubakar Sadiq alias Alhaji Salari, Abdul Majid Dibrin, Nasiru Sani and Yusuf Sani. They were found guilty of criminal conspiracy and culpable homicide under sections 97 and 221 subsection B of the Penal Code. 2 other suspects remain at large. The attack occurred on the night of April 13, 2016, when the defendants entered Mr. Ilyasu's home armed with an axe and other weapons. The assault was reportedly motivated by suspicion that Ilyasu had informed NDLEA operatives, resulting in the arrest of the first defendant and the seizure of illicit drugs and cash. The attack left Ilyasu with fatal injuries. 8 witnesses were called during the trial, and key exhibits, including the murder weapon, were presented in court. After reviewing the evidence, the court handed down the death sentences to the 4 men. The Kano State Ministry of Justice stated that the judgment demonstrates its commitment to ensuring justice in accordance with the law. Award-winning Nollywood actress, fitness advocate, and humanitarian Ms. Kate Henshaw has taken on a new mantle of service as the ambassador for the Lagos Food Bank Initiative (LFBI), Nigeria's foremost hunger relief and nutrition-focused non-profit organization. The announcement marks a significant step in LFBI's drive to deepen its impact in the fight against hunger, malnutrition, and poverty across Nigeria. Ms. Henshaw, one of Nigeria's most respected film icons, brings over 3 decades of experience in the entertainment industry and a well-established record of philanthropy and public service. Beyond acting, she is widely known for her advocacy in public health, fitness, and youth empowerment, using her influence to promote wellness and community development initiatives across the country. Speaking during the unveiling, Ms. Henshaw reaffirmed her lifelong passion for humanitarian work and her belief in collective responsibility. The LFBI described the appointment as a timely and strategic addition to its leadership outreach, saying her voice and credibility will help amplify the organization's message. The LFBI described the appointment as timely and strategic addition to its leadership outreach, saying her voice and credibility will help amplify the organization's message. Ms. Henshaw has long been recognized for her humanitarian efforts. She previously served as a Goodwill Ambassador for the United Nations and various non-governmental organizations, advocating for healthcare, women's rights, and youth inclusion. Her recent fitness campaigns and motivational programs have also inspired thousands to embrace healthy living and social responsibility. The Lagos Food Bank Initiative, established in 2016, has built a reputation for its targeted programs in nutrition support, family farming, educational empowerment, and job placement. Through initiatives such as the Nutritious Meal Plan Intervention and Family Farming Project, it has provided food assistance and livelihood support to thousands of vulnerable households across Lagos and neighboring states. With Ms. Henshaw joining as ambassador, LFB plans to intensify its outreach, mobilize more volunteers, and extract stronger partnership from the private sector, development agencies, and civil society. This is ComfortTV.channel news. We return shortly with business, foreign, and sports news. Many thanks for staying tuned to ComfortTV.channel news. On the world of business, the Naira has reversed recent gains and falling to a 10-day low against the US dollar in the official market, reflecting rising demand, pressures typical of mid-month transactions. The Central Bank of Nigeria reported that the Naira closed at 1,443 Naira 8 cents per dollar, down from 1,433 Naira 71 cents the previous day, marking its 3rd consecutive day of depreciation. The last time the currency traded below this level was on October 29, 2024, when it closed at 1,444 Naira 22 kobo per dollar. The local currency also weakened against other major currencies, including the British pound and the euro. The naira exchanged for 1,910 naira per pound on Wednesday, up from 1,895 naira 65 kobo and declined to 1,673 naira per euro compared with 1,663 naira 24 kobo on Tuesday. In the parallel market, the naira sold for 1,460 naira per dollar, down by 5 naira from the previous day, showing a pattern broad aligned with official market trends. Despite the short-term decline, analysts indicate that the naira remains generally stable, supported by steady liquidity in the foreign exchange market and improved inflows from investment and trade sources. Reports from financial institutions such as United Capital suggest that growing foreign exchange supply has helped narrow the gap between official and parallel market rates to below 1%, down from approximately 7% at the start of the year. Analysts maintain that while temporary factors such as global trade adjustment may influence market sentiment, the risk of a sharp depreciation remains limited due to the country's relatively stable economic fundamentals. Still on business, Standard Chartered Bank of Nigeria Stanchart Limited has successfully fulfilled the Central Bank of Nigeria CBN's 200 billion naira minimum capital requirements set for national commercial banks. In a statement, the bank said the achievement highlights its formidable financial foundation and steadfast commitment to deeply contribute to Nigeria's economic advancement and financial stability. By achieving the capital requirement ahead of schedule, Standard Chartered reaffirms its strategic focus on deepening its presence in Nigeria, one of its most pivotal African markets, through committed investment, robust capital base, strong and sustainable balance sheet, and value-enhancing financing to support clients, leading growth in key sectors that propel national productivity. With a distinguished global heritage spanning over 170 years in Africa and 26 years of dedicated service in Nigeria, Standard Chartered Bank Nigeria Limited continues to harness its global expertise with local insights to provide innovative banking solutions that empower individual businesses and communities to prosper. On the foreign scene, Iran has lodged a formal complaint with the United Nations accusing the United States of directing and controlling Israeli military strikes on Iranian territory. The complaint, submitted by Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi to UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres and the Security Council President, claims that Washington bears direct responsibility for the Israeli offensive on June 13, which sparked a 12-day conflict between the two regional adversaries. Iran's submission cites statement by U.S. President Donald Trump, in which he reportedly asserted that he was very much in charge of Israeli military operation. The U.S. Central Command has reported that over the past months, coalition forces carried out more than 22 operations targeting ISIS cells in Syria, resulting in the deaths of 5 militants and the capture of 19 others. These operations, conducted between October 1 and November 6 by the Combined Joint Task Force Operation, inherently resolved in coordination with Syrian partners, focused on dismantling remaining ISIS networks and preventing the groups from launching attacks locally or internationally. The CENTCOM update highlighted the significance of these missions in maintaining pressure on ISIS remnants and ensuring they cannot rebuild or export terrorism. The announcement coincided with Syria officially joining the global coalition against ISIS as its 90th member, marking a milestone in regional counter-terrorism collaboration. U.S. officials also urged countries to repatriate detained ISIS members and displaced civilians from northeast Syria, citing the risk of prolonged detention, which can foster radicalization. Coalition leaders emphasized that ongoing vigilance and international cooperation remain essential to prevent the resurgence of the extremist group, protect civilian populations, and stabilize affected regions. The group reflects a broader commitment to counter-terrorism, while addressing the humanitarian challenges posed by displaced populations in conflict zones. On sports, Real Madrid center-back Dean Hodgson has spoken out in support of Barcelona rising star Lamine Yamal, following tensions between the Spanish national club and the Catalan club over the teenager's participation in international fixtures. The 18-year-old Barcelona forward withdrew from Spain's November squad due to ongoing concerns about a persistent groin injury, a decision that reportedly frustrated the national team's medical staff. Spanish officials had hoped Yamal would remain available for selection despite his fitness issues, believing he could potentially feature in the team's 2nd November match against Turkey. However, La Roja manager Luis de la Fuente ultimately allowed the player to withdraw to prevent further complications. Jorge Sainz sought to calm the controversy, emphasizing that Yamal is still a young player whose situation had been exaggerated. He highlighted the need to balance player welfare with national team demands, noting that pressure on an 18-year-old can easily escalate unnecessarily. Still on sports, Leeds United are reportedly eyeing a surprise Premier League signing as former Brentford striker Ivan Toney considers a return from the Saudi Pro League. Toney, who joined Al Ahly in August 2024 for £40 million, scored 30 goals in 44 appearances during his first season, helping the club win the AFC Champions League Elite. The 29-year-old has continued his strong form this season with 11 goals in 15 games, but is now exploring a move back to England. Tottenham, Everton and Leeds have all been linked with a potential transfer in the January window. Toney's return could bolster Leeds' struggling attack, with the club scoring just 10 goals in 11 Premier League matches so far. And that's our news bulletin this evening. But before we go, a recap of our top stories. Ex-APC chieftain slams President Tinubu over silence on Minister Wike's confrontation with naval officer. Former Senate President withdraws from PDP National Convention, calls for caretaker committee. Civil society groups hailed INEC's improved conduct in Anambra governorship election. Ajokuta due to produce military hardware following MOU with Defense Ministry. COA strengthened ties with 41 RC alumni, calls for continued support in national defense. 4 sentenced to death over Kano garage owner's murder. Kate Henshaw named ambassador for Lagos Food Bank Initiative, steps up fight against hunger. On business, Naira slips the 10-day low against dollar amid mid-month demand pressure. Foreign, Iran accuses U.S. of directing Israeli attacks in formal UN complaint. And on sports, Dean Hutchison defends Lamine Yamal's amid Spain national team injury dispute. Thank you for watching. For breaking news, exclusive interviews and more, follow us online at ComfortTV.channel on all platforms. Remember to like and share our videos, subscribe to our channel and click on the notification bell so you don't miss out on any updates. My name is Faith Kevin. Until next time, stay informed, stay connected.